Hi everybody, this is just some guy, and today I just want to rant a little bit. I want to talk about what's going on with Van Sciver, Malin, guys like Chuck Dixon, and this is directed less at people who normally watch my videos and more at the creators who might watch my videos. And I have a question for you. What kind of comic book industry do you want? I ask this only because it seems like you're going out of your way to alienate the people who would actually bring in a new audience. It seems like you give people who agree with your politics a massive pass, but anyone who doesn't agree with you, no matter how slight, you go after them. Watching the way that pros have sat there and ignored what's going on with Ethan Van Sciver while they rallied around people like Aubrey Sitterson is just amazing. The two's actions could not be more different. Here you have a hit piece that was made against Ethan Van Sciver. There's no reason to really read it because it's from Bleeding Cool. You know no one's actually done their research on it. It's written by Rich Johnston, so you know there's no actual journalism there. For those who haven't read the article, what Rich did was take a random Facebook page, screen cap it, and take away all the context for what was being said there. All you have is Ethan saying to someone, "Go kill yourself." And there's no context to what the conversation was before that, whether this is a joke, whether they are arguing, none of that is there. This is the most basic element of journalism completely absent from this article. But more astounding is, the rest of the comic book industry didn't seem to have a problem with this. These people rallied around Aubrey Sitterson, but here you have someone who's clearly got a hit piece written against him, and no one has anything to say about it. Is that the kind of industry that you want? Where it's just a little clique? Everybody gets in there, has to have your same ideas, or else they don't get to be a part of your cool kids group? Diversity in comics sometimes says that these people would be happy if books only sold about 5,000 issues. And at first I didn't believe him, because it just seemed really odd that anyone would want to do that in a business. But I know this crowd of people. I've watched them for well over 15 years, I know how they act, and I have to admit, that probably is a goal of theirs. That's probably not the main goal, but it certainly is a goal. I don't think they really care how much the books sell at all. I think the issue is really them taking over an industry and taking it away from people who actually enjoy it. And I have a feeling that one of the reasons why Ethan has been targeted so recently, so viciously, is because people like me, people like Diversity Comics, Captain Cummings, I Love Comics, Nerd Wonder, Weaponized Nerd Rage, Douglas Ernst, all of us, we like him. And the fact that we like him and we support him, we enjoy his work, and that he would speak to us, that he would talk back to us, that seems to have pissed these people off. And they went after him specifically because we seem to like him. And when you think about it, you have to ask the question again. What kind of comic book industry do you want? You punish a creator because he's got more fans, and his fans like him, he interacts with them, and they interact back. So you decide to punish that by trying to get the man fired. Oh look, here's an artist who drew a cover. We don't like that the character on the cover has breasts. Let's digitally alter that, alter the rest of her costume, and let's specifically target that guy, because people seem to like the original cover he drew, and told him that. And when he points out that these people are viciously going after folks, and that they behave in a way that is completely contrary to the way that they claim that they do, and make a comparison against them that they have been making against anyone who disagrees with them for the last 2 years, suddenly he's persona non grata. You're going to do that to the guy because he has the temerity to disagree with you. So I ask again, what kind of comic book industry do you want? Because what you're doing is otherwise scaring off people who would otherwise join the industry. There are thousands of artists and writers who will not create. I'm not talking about drawing or writing on their own. They will not put out books because of this. They won't even take the risk because they're afraid of what's going to happen to them. But the other reason is because of what's going on with Ethan Van Sciver and Malin, what's happened to guys like Chuck Dixon, where they've been targeted, specifically targeted. People make personal attacks against them, they make threats against them, and what you see is that a large swath of people seem to think it's perfectly okay. And this isn't trolls who are doing this, these are other professionals. These are the companies and corporations these folks work for, turned a complete blind eye to this. If you want to understand the type of harassment that you can receive, just talk to Douglas Ernst. Listen to what he has to say about the types of things these people have done because he's used his name and he's put his face out there. They've contacted his employer and tried to get him fired because he said things about comic books that they didn't like. This is a crowd of people that you're dealing with, and this is the industry that you're dealing with. And for those of you who are in the industry, I'm going to ask you again, what kind of comic book industry do you want? Because this doesn't sound like something that's supposed to be entertaining or fun or inclusive. It sounds like something out of 1984, where everyone's got to look over their back, make sure they got their view screen covered, be careful of what they say, don't let their eyes twitch too much, or they might be found out and then drummed out of an industry. Some of them before they even get a chance to get their foot in the door. We've seen what happens when you do this. Just look up Atheism Plus. It's a complete mess. Nobody participates in those forums except for the moderators, because they booted everyone out. You look at academia, same thing happens. You look at every business that has fallen for this, and it is turned into a complete mess. There isn't a single creative industry that is able to sustain itself with this level of claptrap, with the exception of the music and film industries. And that's only because enough people have enough power to be able to get around some of this stuff. Other than that, it collapses an industry. And that's what we've seen with comics. It's going to die a very slow death. It's never going to go away fully. But it's going to end up like vinyl records. But you guys are trying to push it to vinyl really fast. It's like you tried to skip CDs altogether and just go straight to digital media. What are you doing? What are you doing to this industry? Do you want to be able to make a living here? Do you want to be able to sell books? Or are you just trying to take something that you think is enjoyed by conservatives or straight white men and take it from them? Is that really what this is about? Or that this is a community that seems to pride itself on the things that you think are no longer valid? Are you mad because the most popular characters don't fit your political perspective? So you're willing to join an industry, work your ass off to get to the levels that you've gotten to, most of you, and then destroy it from within, and then watch it come crashing down around you? That's what you want to do. That's the industry that you want to have. If that's what you want to do, that's your business. But you keep doing it, and you won't have a business for very long. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.